Welcome to my craft area. I'm Anna Hellman and I'm so glad you're here with me today. Let's look at today's project. Earlier this week, Stampin' Up! Released the Butterfly Brilliance bundle, which includes the Stampin' die set you can see right here and some really beautiful papers. And I'm really excited about this. It's a special release. It's not in any of our catalogs. It's going to be available through the beginning of May. And I'm sharing projects all week to make with these beautiful butterflies. So I'll share a couple of the ones I've already done with you, and I'll link to these here if you would like to take a look at them. Here is one, it's called the Joseph's Coat technique I created, where I embossed with clear embossing powder. You can see that designer paper underneath, and then I covered the rest with black ink. That is a card that I've created. I have a couple of watercolor ones here that I'll show you. This was really fun to watercolor that in the background and then add those vellum overlays with some shimmer paint on them. And here are some ones from my introduction video where I just shared a lot of different ways to use this set. Here's a very simple card. I just die cut that out of the designer paper, and there are just lots and lots of ways to use this set, as you can see here. Now, the card we're going to make in today's video doesn't involve really special techniques or anything crazy new you've never seen before, but I am going to show you a technique for how to do an embossed background on a slimline card, which can be challenging when your embossing folders are not large enough for that. So to give you an idea of where I'm headed with today's project, I am going to use some of our pearlescent paper. Are you able to see the sheen on this paper? This paper is some of my absolute favorite. I am getting ready to stock up and order quite a bit of it because I absolutely love it. So we're going to make a slimline wedding card with this pearlescent paper. We're going to add a few more things in by the time we get done and make this really, really beautiful. But like I said, I want to emboss this piece right here, but my embossing folder is not as large as this piece of paper. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to share that with you, and we will actually start with that. So let's do that first. And actually, before I move my butterflies, what I need to do is mark on here where this butterfly, this large butterfly in the center, is going to lay. And I think I want my small one at the top. If you notice, this butterfly's wingspan stretches from side to side on this card, and we are going to use this butterfly to hide a place where we are going to cut the paper, and you won't even see it when we get done. So I think I'm going to want to put my butterfly right here when I get done with this card. So I'm going to make a mark over here where I am going to cut under that wing. I am going to cut over here under this wing, and then I want to make a mark down in here somewhere so that I know where to cut down to, because when I make this cut, I'm going to have to angle it downwards so that it doesn't show behind the butterfly. So let's make this cut, and then we will do our embossing. And you can see how this will come together. Now, if you want details on a slimline card, how to make a slimline card and the dimensions, I will link to that here. I've got a great tutorial on how to make a slimline card. These cards fit into business size envelopes. You don't need an extra stamp for them. And it's just really fun to make a little bit different statement than with a standard A2 size card. Now I'll bring in my cut and emboss machine here. So now you can see I've cut this down into two pieces that will fit into this embossing folder. So I'll bring in my cut and emboss machine and emboss these quickly, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we have these pieces embossed. I do recommend when you choose an embossing folder for this technique, you want to choose one with an even pattern, and I would recommend a fairly small pattern so that you're not going to notice if it doesn't line up right here above and below our butterfly. I use the Tasteful Textile folder, which is a really beautiful one I've been using quite a lot. So now we're ready. We can go ahead and attach these pieces onto the front of our card. The dimensions for this were 7 by 8.5, and then I folded it in half. So now it measures 3.5 by 8.5. Get a good amount of adhesive on here. I do like to use plenty of adhesive anytime I am embossing because of all that texture on that paper to make sure everything stays stuck where it is supposed to. So we'll mount this one here at the bottom first, and the dimensions for this pearlescent paper before I cut it were 3 3/8 by 8 3/8. So we just have a little mat of that Blackberry Bliss showing in the background, which I realize is hard to see on my black mat. But now that we have this, I want to show you what I have planned for this. So I am going to lay 3 of the full butterflies in the background, and then we're going to put these overlays on top. So let me bring the dies back in and we'll look at those just for a second. The set comes with this one big die that cuts out all of the butterflies at once. So if you want to stamp them, this is one big stamp, cut them all out at once, you can do that with this die. So this is the one I use to cut out these, the full butterflies. And then I also use the overlay ones, the detailed ones, to cut out these pieces. So I'm going to lay these here. I've already prepped them, as you can see, with some dimensionals on the back so we can pop them up. But I'm going to lay them out here just for spacing first. And there you can see when I put that butterfly on, we are not going to see that seam in the embossed background. So I think I'm ready to put this one on. We'll stick it on down here. Let's put this one up here. And before I put this one on, I want to add some linen thread. I really like to add some texture and just something a little bit extra to my real simple cards like this. So I am going to place some adhesive. This is some Seal Plus, some good strong adhesive right there. And I'm going to just wrap this around and try and make a little messy thread that's going to show behind the butterfly once I get it all attached. Now, if you're not sure how to do this, if you think, well, I don't really know how to make that look right, I am going to ensure you what I do is I prepare it like this. I wrap it around, I stick it into the adhesive each time I wrap it around. And then, because I'm not sure if I'm going to like the way that looks, I lay this right on top and check it. And this one in particular, I think is sticking down too far. So let's try that again. And I think this is going to be a nice little addition to this really neutral card. And go ahead and cut that off. Make sure we like it, and then we can add the butterfly in. And I would like for this string to come out over here on this side, opposite of the other string. So get that to happen, and let's attach this butterfly down. Okay. Now I want to attach these overlays. So to do that, I just like to run one thin little strip of glue down the center, lay them on, let it dry, and then once it's dry, I like to pop the wings up. So we'll lay that one on, this one on, and this one on. Now for the greeting for this, I decided I wanted it to be a wedding card, and one of my favorite new sets for wedding cards is this Forever and Always set. I really like these big words, the love and always, that you can match with all of these smaller words. So I used the die set and the stamps, and I prepared this little tag that says Forever and then on the inside, I am going to stamp the big word always, along with a more detailed message for a wedding. So let's put this little tag on the front. I want to put it right on top of this butterfly. I want to add in a few pearls to this, and then that will complete the front of this card. So I'll use my Take Your Pick tool here with a few pearls. I love this way for picking them up. And when I set them down on my card, I set them down very gently because I may end up moving them. I don't always know when I put these on if I'm putting them in the spots where I want to leave them. So I just set them down gently, and then, like I said, if I need to move them, I can do that. Okay, I may add a few more when I get done, but we'll leave those for now. And I will trim this little twine a little bit. Now let's stamp and prep the piece for the inside. And I just love this, so I want to show this to you up closer. And hopefully you can get an appreciation for that beautiful pearlescent paper. So I'll show you how we'll stamp the inside for this. And I am using that pearlescent paper again. Stamping on this, you do have to be careful because it's a little bit glossy and it doesn't dry. The ink does not dry very fast. So after I stamp this, I will finish this card up, put it together. So you can click in the video description down below, go to my blog, and you'll be able to see up close pictures of this after it's all done. But after I stamp it, I am going to dry it with my heat tool. Okay, so the front of the card says Forever, and here on the inside it will say Always. And let's see, I was going to add one more greeting to it. I'll just do this with a regular stamping block. This is a really nice greeting from the Forever Blossom set. That says, wishing you a long life together filled with love and promise. This is another really nice set for wedding cards, anniversary love, and similar occasions. So thought it would be nice to have something like that added in as well. So I hope you like the Slimline card. I hope the tip is helpful for how to emboss when you don't have an embossing folder that is large enough. And make sure to check into my other videos later this week with this Butterfly Brilliance set. Thanks so much for joining in today. For more information and links to the products used today, click in the video description box down below to visit my website. Make sure you also click down below to subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell to receive notifications when I share new videos. I truly appreciate you being here, as well as every like, share, and comment that I receive. I'll see you again next time when I'll be back helping you to hand make with love.